Producers Trung Yu Trung Chan, Editor Lee Minh Phang, Music Win Phang, Orchestra Liberty Troops XP Region, Artist Hoa Văn Tây Nguyễn Hoan, and Director Quang Quốc. Chi, a piece of fertile land on the left hand of Saigon River, immense with its gentle waters, fondling the waves night and day. The land of many gardens, peaceful all year round under the shady trees, and fruit trees, ripe all 4 seasons. The land of straight, flat scenery, immense with hundreds of rubber trees. Chi, a small piece of land only 150 square kilometers, with a road and water system, large and complicated like a spider web, next to the 8th highway of Saigon City, the central city of the Americans. With a location like that, with a region like that, with a scenery like that, Chi is always a place for picnics of the city people, a place of gentle and simple peasants of the countryside, a place of childhood memories, of only wanting to live peacefully. But the merciless American bombs have ruthlessly decided to kill this gentle and small piece of countryside in the south of Vietnam, thousands of miles away from USA. With their modern powers of 60 years B-52 poisonous power, wanting to put their foot into the southern revolutionary area so that the Saigon government could breathe, although they had nearly fallen 12 times. Like a crazy batch of devils, they fired into women and children. They fired into riverside chickens and ducks. They fired into greenery. They fired into the earth. They even fired into schools, pots and pans, and even into Buddha statues. All the prosperous and rich villages of Chi were destroyed by the bombs and bullets of Washington, D.C., just like the Trang Lam village. They came in a stampede, charged into Chi guerrillas region. Who are the Chi fighters? They are little Trần Thị Gừng, the small girl who lost her father, and in her a hatred, a want for revenge for her family, her country. And so many fighters with their faces appearing above ground, with their rifles and grenades, and over 100 attacks per day of those well-trained soldiers. But by counterattacks and ambush, Flynn's group killed nearly 118 Americans. Those are the fighters of Phạm Văn Cội, well-trained and a love for his comrades, a hatred of U.S. bombs and bullets. He used his intelligence and rifles to destroy planes, using the right time to charge right into the enemy's hangout. After the first stage of fighting against the Americans, he himself killed hundreds of Americans and was awarded 3 awards for killing Americans: Hero for killing Americans, Hero for destroying tanks, and Hero for felling jet fighters. All this group of fighters in the Dickhead village became heroes of the war. That is also counting Bani, the peasant all his life long plowed the fields. But the first time he fought the enemy, he could find out the exact way the enemy would go. He could foretell and plan where to put grenades exactly to kill the enemy. With the success of killing 16 American soldiers, 3 tanks, Bani was awarded as the American Killer Hero. Also, there were Vati Mo, the little schoolgirl, cute and gentle of the fields. Although she was weak, but through war she had her decision and said to the men soldiers, "Wherever you go, I'll be able to go too." Sometimes she used rifles, sometimes grenades. 8 days continuously, she tracked down the enemy. In her first encounter with the enemy, she was awarded as American Killer Hero. To keep their homes and countryside, these simple peasants of Cu Chi village had spoke off every grand attack of the Americans by using their simple traps of guerrilla fighting. The bombshells and failed planes left in the battlefield were all taken by the Cu Chi fighters to be made into deadly weapons with enough capacity to destroy tanks. Learning from the initiative of Hero Phạm Văn Cội, the fighters had used their initiative to make bombs and bullets. They made a wooden platform with bullets on it. They also made explosives and grenades to fly straight and kill the enemy. From the Americans new kinds of guns and especially quick explosives, M71, the Cu Chi guerrillas never stopped using their own traditional weapons. Bamboo traps, which used to be used for hunting animals, now were used to hunt American enemies. Coming to Cu Chi, the Americans would always fall into these bamboo traps. Each trap is a trap for fighting. Every person is a soldier, a hero. That is the powerful force of Cu Chi guerrillas. Although they had to live in poverty, the Cu Chi inhabitants would not retreat and give way to 1 inch of their land. They were determined to stay and work, learning their father's saying, "A rifle in one hand and a plow in the other." The enemy attacked in the morning. They plowed the fields at night. The fields and canals were full of bombshells, but overcoming tremendous difficulties, they continued to work. The guerrillas could eat enough and win the war. receiving guests and market gathering down under the ground. The Americans wanted to turn Kochi into a dead land, but Kochi will never die. Unable to live on the surface, they lived underground. With a small village under shady trees, Kochi has turned into a treacherous target for the Americans.